Ladies and gentlemen, loneliness is often misunderstood. Many people assume it's a failure to connect, but for a woman with no friends, it can be a deliberate choice, a conscious decision to walk a path of resilience and strength. Imagine someone choosing to climb a mountain alone, not because they can't find a partner, but because they know the journey will teach them more about themselves. There is power in walking alone, even in a world that glorifies social connections. She doesn't need validation from others to define her worth. Her solitude isn't an empty void. It's a blank canvas where she paints her dreams, builds her courage, and discovers who she truly is. Think of an artist, alone in a studio, pouring their soul into their work. There's something extraordinary about a woman who can stand in the quiet, unshaken by the absence of applause. Her strength isn't measured by how many people surround her, but by how confidently she navigates life without them. Every day she faces the same challenges as anyone else, yet she carries an additional weight, the judgment of society. It's like walking into a room where everyone is whispering, "Why is she alone?" But she doesn't let these whispers define her. Instead, she uses them as fuel to grow. In her solitude, she finds clarity. She doesn't chase friendships to fill a void. Instead, she confronts the void, learns to sit with it, and eventually embraces it. It's like sitting in an empty room and realizing it's not the furniture that makes it beautiful, it's the peace within it. Walking a path without the comfort of companionship takes courage. It's like venturing into a forest with no map, yet trusting that you'll find your way. In that darkness, she lights her own path. People often misunderstand this strength. They assume she must be broken, damaged, or difficult to love. But the truth is, she has chosen herself. Her journey isn't about being rejected by others, it's about fully accepting herself. She knows her time, energy, and life are too precious to waste on shallow relationships or toxic people. Imagine a gardener tending only to the plants that truly thrive, rather than wasting energy on weeds. She doesn't settle for less than she deserves, because she knows that loneliness is a better companion than fake friends. There's a vast world inside her, one that many will never understand. Her thoughts are deep, her dreams unspoken, and her determination unshakable. While others seek distractions in social gatherings, she seeks growth in solitude. Every moment she spends alone is an investment in herself, a step toward becoming the woman she was always meant to be. She reads, learns, and reflects, sharpening her mind and strengthening her spirit. Think of a sculptor chiseling away at stone, slowly revealing something beautiful. Alone doesn't mean lonely, it means focused. Her life isn't empty because it lacks people. It's full because it has meaning. She doesn't need validation from social media likes or endless phone calls to feel alive. Her joy comes from small victories, finishing a book that taught her something new, waking up early to watch the sunrise, or taking a walk and listening to the sounds of nature. These moments, seemingly insignificant to others, are her treasures. Imagine someone stopping to admire a single flower in a field while others rush past. She has built a fortress of peace around herself, and not everyone is allowed inside. The woman with no friends isn't weak. She's a warrior. She has faced rejection, betrayal, and loneliness, yet she has emerged stronger. It's like forging steel in fire. The process is painful, but it creates something unbreakable. She doesn't crumble under the weight of isolation. She rises above it. In a world that teaches women to rely on others, she has learned to rely on herself. She is her own best friend, her own cheerleader, and her own guide. Imagine someone running a marathon alone, cheering themselves on with every step. She knows that true strength comes from within, not from the approval of others. When you look at her, you might not see the silent struggles she has endured. You might not notice the tears she has cried behind closed doors, or the nights she spent wondering if something was wrong with her. But those moments have shaped her into the woman she is today. a woman who doesn't need a crowd to feel complete. Her solitude has given her a gift that many never receive: self-awareness. She knows who she is and isn't afraid to stand alone. She doesn't envy those surrounded by people. She knows that many friendships are built on convenience, not connection. She sees the smiles that hide insecurity, the laughter that masks pain, and the gatherings that are more about appearances than authenticity. It's like watching a play where everyone wears masks. She chooses quality over quantity, even if it means standing alone, because she understands that being surrounded by people who don't truly see her is far lonelier than being alone. Her journey is not easy, but it is rewarding. Every step she takes is a step toward freedom: freedom from societal expectations, freedom from the need for validation, and freedom to be herself. She has learned to love her own company, to find joy in her own thoughts, and to build a life she is proud of. She doesn't wait for others to make her happy. She creates her own happiness. It's like planting a garden and watching it bloom, knowing you nurtured it yourself. The world tells her she needs friends to be complete, but she knows better. She doesn't need anyone else to complete her. She is already whole. She doesn't measure her worth by how many people want to be around her. Instead, she measures it by how true she is to herself. She has discovered the beauty of independence, the strength of self-reliance, and the peace that comes from being unapologetically herself. People might pity her, but she doesn't need their pity. She is not a victim of her circumstances. She is the creator of her destiny. Imagine an author writing their own story, refusing to let anyone else hold the pen. She has chosen to walk a different path, one that requires bravery and resilience. She doesn't let the world's expectations dictate her choices. Instead, she listens to her own heart and follows it, even if it leads her away from the crowd. There's a kind of magic in her solitude. It allows her to see the world in ways others cannot. She notices the beauty in the small things, the lessons in the challenges, and the opportunities in the struggles. While others are distracted by the noise of the world, she is tuned in to the whispers of her soul. It's like standing in the middle of a storm and noticing the calm within. She doesn't need a crowd to feel alive, because she has found life within herself. The woman with no friends is not a woman to be underestimated. She has a depth that many will never understand, a strength that many will never possess, and a courage that many will never admire. She is proof that you don't need a tribe to thrive, that you can build a life of meaning and purpose on your own. She is not afraid to stand alone because she knows she is never truly alone. She has herself, and that is enough. Her story is one of triumph, not tragedy. It is a story of choosing self-worth over societal approval, inner peace over external validation, and authenticity over conformity. She is not defined by her lack of friends, but by her abundance of courage, resilience, and self-love. She is a woman who walks alone, not because she has to, but because she chooses to. Her path may be silent, but it is filled with purpose. She is not chasing distractions or shallow connections. She is chasing her dreams. She has learned that the energy she gives to the wrong people drains her of the strength she needs to build her future. So she holds her energy close, reserving it for the things that truly matter. While others spread themselves thin trying to please everyone, she focuses on pleasing herself. It's like lighting a single candle in the dark instead of trying to illuminate an entire room at once. Her journey is proof that solitude isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. In her silence, she grows. In her solitude, she thrives. And in her independence, she finds her greatest strength.